For over 100 years, rugby has evolved into a game that caters for a variety of players. The range of skills and physical qualities required of players in rugby union football makes it a unique game. The variety occurs in rugby because the game is based on two key principles: the principle of contesting possession of the ball and the principle of continuing play. The skills required for contesting possession and for continuing play are considerable, and few players are skilled in all aspects of the game to the same level of expertise. This has led to specialisation. The variety of shared and specialist skills that have evolved in rugby, it has become a complex and multifaceted game. The unique character of the game depends on maintaining the balance between the principles of contesting possession of the ball and continuing play. If one principle becomes more dominant, then that variety will be lost.
They go blind again, they're over the line now, and it's a try for the Duggars. Well, that is greeted by the crowd with the biggest roar of the day.
This particularly applies to contesting possession of the ball. The skills required are different from those used in continuing play. The contest for possession of the ball begins at the set pieces. As the purest physical contest of the game, the scrum tests the technique, strength and will of the forwards. The line-out demands agility and skill with variety and options from the choice of targets. Once play gets underway, contesting possession can also take place immediately after a player is tackled and at rucks and mauls.
Again, no, they've cleared it nicely. Cleared well indeed. Just one player to beat. Out wide, should go in the corner.
A team in defence may not decide to try to win the ball immediately. They must just defend by tackling and setting a defensive pattern. But they must be given opportunities to regain possession of the ball and play with it. They will only take part in the contest if they're given the possibility of turning over the possession.
Spun right across the pitch there. Dupree into Butch James, and then Brian Habana chases it. Habana interfered with off the ball, but Brian Habana's going to score his 7th try in the tournament.
Contest for possession at scrums and lineouts is achieved by having the ball put in or thrown in down the centre. This gives both sides an opportunity to win the ball, so they will contest for it. Once play gets underway, this contest must continue. The reason is clear. Without a contest, the defending team will not be drawn into trying to recover the ball. Without a contest, after a tackle or at ruck or maul, the opposition will simply spread out to defend. There will be few gaps through which to penetrate, and this will substantially reduce the options available for the attacking team to go forward. How then can we ensure that possession is contested so that the attacking side has space to operate? The most obvious way is to make sure that players are on their feet when they try to get the ball off the ground after a tackle. A player's teammates may be quicker than their opponents in support. If so, they will be able to bind together and push their opponents off the ball.
Some defence was outnumbering the back's options there. Gomersall again, Wilkinson, little chip through, Saki should be on this, and he is.
If players are lying on the ground and still involved in play, it's very difficult to push them off. They're not allowed to do this as the laws do not permit these actions. Of course, if a player is very quick, the ball can be picked up, and if the ball carrier is held but remains standing, the opposing team are able to try to pull the ball away. Each of these actions offers the defending team the opportunity to regain possession of the ball, and if they do, they can set up a counter-attack and achieve continuing play. If the contest for possession does not result in a turnover for the defending team, they've still been drawn in by the possibility, and this has created space across the field.
That was a wonderful pass, back inside, and this could be a try for Ireland. At last, Gervin Dempsey has broken through for the Irish.
Entering the contest for possession reduces the number of players available for the defensive screen. Depending upon how many players are committed to the contest from either side at any moment in the game, opportunities are created for attackers to use their attacking skills and for defenders to react in defence while contesting for possession. The result of contesting possession is the creation of space, and space is necessary for continuing play, so the game is one in which the contest creates space for the game to continue. For the game of rugby union to retain its unique character, the balance between contesting for possession and continuing play must be achieved. For the player, the variety and the many aspects of play generated creates greater satisfaction. There are many collective and individual contests during a game. Success in these mini-contests may not be reflected in the score at the end of the game, but they allow players to gain satisfaction as they test themselves against opponents with similar missions to themselves. If a team is good enough to win the ball, they have the opportunity to keep the game going. But if their continuity skills are not as good as the defensive skills of the other team, they may lose possession. The opposing team will now attack with it. In order to make sure that this occurs, the IRB has produced the Charter. This identifies and explains the principles that govern the game's mode of play and ensures the game retains its uniqueness.
He struck it well. Beautiful kick. Oh, what a kick. Good shot. Hernandez attempted the drop.